What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Gold Randomizer Nuzlocke. We're the Kanto Pokemon Federation Trainer Group. That's a long name. We'll drive you under our wheels. And that is a very intense thing to say. My gosh, I'm just challenging you to a Pokemon battle. You don't have to be so, intense about it. Goodness. What did they say? Travel with me under their wheels? Or, run me over with their wheels? That's crazy. Dude, it's a Pokemon battle. It's not that serious. Calm the heck down. Okay, speaking of calm the heck down, we have a Weezing out here, which has Explosion, and a Pokemon out with only 21 health. That is scary. Let's get Gene the heck out of here, because this guy clearly is not going to calm the heck down. So who are you going out to? Not Geraldine. Geraldine's good on levels right now. Let's do Kenya. Can Kenya take an Explosion? Yeah. Kenya has proven time and time again to be far bulkier than I would expect a Crobat to be, even though they are a Crobat, so I guess we'll send out them. I guess they're fine, actually. I underestimate their bulkiness all the time. I gotta work on that. And I know I've said before that I gotta work on that, but every time I say I gotta work on that, I still continue to not really work on that all that much, so I have to continue to work on that, even though I've brought up many times how I'm going to work on it, and I still have not worked on it to a sufficient amount where I'm no longer doing it. I need to stop underestimating Kenya's bulkiness. I'm doing it. I'm starting right now. This is the time and place where I stop underestimating Kenya's bulkiness. I just did it. There we go. I sent them out against something that had Explosion, something that I knew had Explosion, knowing that the thing could blow up, and I expected Kenya to take it. That's me no longer underestimating the bulkiness of Crobat, which apparently it has quite a bit of bulkiness to it. So you went for the Bone Rush because it was super effective against the Poison type, but this thing isn't a Poison type. This thing is not weak to ground, so we're just going to go for the Stab move, because that is the better option if the thing we're fighting is not weak to ground, and may even be the better option than Bone Rush, honestly, if the thing that we're fighting is weak to ground. I don't know, but I went for the Bone Rush against the Weezing anyway, because I wasn't sure. And, I mean, we might as well save the Stab, if we can. If I think that, the super effective thing might do, pretty even damage comparatively to that of the Stab, then I might as well save the Stab, because the super effective thing is gonna be super effective on, the one Pokemon we're fighting, so it would be good for that. Meanwhile, the Stab is gonna be good against everything, you know? So I might as well save the thing that's, more versatile, and use the less versatile thing, the few times that I can, in order to save the thing that's more versatile, you know? Also, I only have 10 Bone Rushes to work with. So, might as well use those up. That's 10 times that I don't have to use Wing Attack. That's 10 times that I can avoid using Wing Attack, and while Wing Attack has more PP, still, I might as well try to conserve that, because, obviously, as I said, it's useful against more things. Use the thing that's not so useful, when you can, so that you have more of the stuff that is useful, is kind of what I'm going for here. Wing Attack being the thing that is way more useful in way more situations, so I want to conserve the PP on that, even though it has considerably more PP than Bone Rush does. Take out the Machamp with the super effective Wing Attack. He was not living that. In no realm was he living that. So, sorry! It's okay. What's not okay is the threat that you made to me at the beginning of the battle. That was a little rude. So if you're apologizing for losing the Pokemon battle, that's okay. If you're apologizing for, if you're apologizing for losing the Pokemon battle, then, you don't need to, it's fine. Don't take it so seriously, man. If you are apologizing for the threat you made earlier to me, yeah, that definitely does need an apology, but I do forgive you. I thank you for apologizing, I forgive you. Just don't do it again, okay? Don't threaten me like that again. That was really, honestly, kind of scary. Alex, good evening. It's me, Veronica. Got a minute? I just saw some rare Tyranitar in Route 30. In Route 30? Is that like a cave, or do you mean on Route 30? I mean, I feel like in Route 30 would mean that it was, an enclosed area, you know, in suggests you're, inside of it, so you'd have to be, inside of something. So it would be, an enclosed area. So if it's a cave, then in Route 30 makes sense. If it's not a cave, then you probably should have said on Route 30, unless it's some other enclosed area. Anyway, I'll call you if I see another rare Pokemon, okay? See you later! See, I don't know if they're actually, telling me Pokemon that are there, or they're telling me, a random Pokemon. You know, I don't know if it randomizes the Pokemon that they say is in a location to a random Pokemon, or it actually is telling you the random Pokemon that is there. I don't know. The Kanto Pokemon Federation will never fall. Oh yeah, well, let me take out this other member of your Kanto Pokemon whatever the heck. I think this is another member, unless I'm just, unless I'm just lumping you all into a group that you're not all a part of just because you're on bikes, which I guess when I put it that way, kind of sounds like segregation. But it's just bikes, so it's just segregation of people who ride bikes and people who don't. But I guess all segregation is bad, so like, sorry. The cops shut down our underground path. That really fries me. So sorry to assume that you're a part of the group if you're not. But I'm just, you know, you have a bike and he has a bike, so I guess you're like pretty much the same person. Oh no, this is all coming out wrong, I'm sorry. Tamer Mike sent out Metapod. Okay, that's cool. Nice Metapod, dude. Sick Metapod. I'm just gonna kill it now, if you don't mind. Gene, ideally, should be switched out. We should get them out of the front. I will do that after this battle if I remember. Keyword, if. Because my memory sucks, in case you're new here. Welcome, welcome. My memory sucks. It is an established fact throughout many of my videos. And, forgive me! Oh, wow, all these guys want to be forgiven. Okay. See, that other guy had a reason to be forgiven. He had a reason why I needed to forgive him. You really don't, I don't think. I think you're just saying, forgive me, because you're like, I don't know, you're like one of those children nowadays who, like, apologizes for everything. You're one of those. And, guys, if you're a person who, like, apologizes for everything, this is for you at home, viewers. If you're a person who apologizes for everything, that's nice and all, but, like, you don't need to sometimes. Just be careful with that. I know I apologize for things that, I don't need to apologize for. And honestly, it's unnecessary, and sometimes it gets to a point where it's just annoying. So, just don't think that everything's your fault, okay? Because some things genuinely are, and some things you don't need to apologize for. They're just things that happen. Don't apologize too much. It's annoying, and it is, like, not good for you mentally to think that everything is your fault like that. Anyway, wiped out by some punk from Johto. Hey, what the heck, man? Okay, now you need to apologize. What's up with you? What are you gonna need to apologize for? We're the Kanto Pokemon Federation! Okay. Right on, dude! Oh, so they are all part of the Pokemon Kanto thingamabobber. Yeah, okay, so I'm not, bicyclist. Bicyclist. Kabuto. You can tell I was trying to come up with the right word for that on the fly. Because I stuttered for a second before I actually spit out bicyclist. I like the word that I came to, though. Bicyclist is funny. I'm not bicyclist. No, not at all, because yes, I assumed that you were all part of the same group just because you were all riding bicycles, but I was right, so that means I'm not bicyclist. Clearly. If, you make an assumption about a person, if you make a, what's a way of saying this that won't get me cancelled? If you make an assumption about a person based on the way that they look, it's fine, as long as you're right. Right, guys? Yeah, right, definitely. That's called sarcasm, in case you're unaware. Just making sure everyone knows that that was sarcasm. That's what that's called. And if you haven't looked into it, go look into it before you, like, try to cancel me or anything. Anyway. So Judy takes out the Kabuto. That's a fossil Pokemon, which means it's a rock type, which means the fighting type move we use against it is super effective. Our submissions are super effective, and we take it out with Judy. That's great. Who's coming out against the Golduck, I believe is what they're sending out. I guess it would be Kenya, because Kenya is the GOAT, apparently. Kenya is the GOAT, and not in the way that I expected, because I knew the Crobat was good. Right, I knew the Crobat was good. I didn't know Crobat was good in this gen, so that's... Way back when, I benched Crobat because I was like, they don't learn anything for a while, and I stand by that. I think that was a good decision then, but now, like, I've bought them out later in the game, like, trained them up to the level the rest of the team is, and now they're putting in work. When they just had, like, Leech Life, and that was, like, the only attacking move they had, Leech Life and Gust was it for, like, a while. I had to grind them up to like quite a high level in order for them to get like actually good moves. And by that I mean, and by good moves I mean wing attack, That's about it. But wing attack is enough with Crobat. Crobat's good enough to the point where just wing attack suffices. Wing attack is fine. Just wing attack as your good attacking move is okay with Crobat. I don't need poison type stab. Just wing attack on Crobat is good enough, honestly. Yikes. Sorry. I mean, poison type stab obviously would not be bad. I'd be down for it. I wouldn't refuse it or anything, but I don't need it. Crobat is good enough to the point where I don't need the other stab that it has. I can just kind of destroy things with wing attack. I'll be real. It's enough. Right now, at this point in the game, at this current point I am at, it is enough. We'll try not to disturb anyone from now on. It's okay. You're chill. You're cool. You didn't say anything that was like super offensive against me. That other person who was like insulting the fact that I'm from Johto, and that other person who just said he was gonna run me over, those guys are crazy. Those guys have to apologize. Not you. You're good. You didn't say anything that was like wildly offensive. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go around in this patch of grass because we haven't gotten an encounter in a while. It's been all like fighting gyms and stuff. Oh my gosh, have we not gotten an encounter since we got to Kanto? I feel like that's like a theme that I haven't heard yet. Is that like Kanto encounter theme? It sounds good. Do I actually have Pokeballs? I do have Pokeballs. I have a Master Ball. I could Master Ball this Grand Ball if I wanted to. I don't know why I would want to. I'll ball for lower level Pokemon. Honestly, those sound really good in Kanto, because as you can see, in Kanto, the wild Pokemon levels are like this. And it's weird. Because I'm pretty sure the Pokemon in this area, in the Kanto games, like in this area in the Kanto games, like the route that I am on, in Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Green, other Kanto games, in all those games, I'm pretty sure the route that I'm on, the Pokemon here were higher level than they are in this game. I'm pretty sure they were above level 15 in this area, in the Kanto games. But in Johto, apparently they're lower level than they were in Kanto, even though it's the same area, in the same region. It doesn't make any sense. Unless I'm, like, severely wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it was, like, around level 15, and this is, like, on par with what the levels were here. But I feel like this is, like, pretty late into, the Kanto games, like, this area. This route is, like, pretty late into the Kanto games. Like, not terribly late, but, like, late enough to the point where level 15 seems a bit low. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It happens. So... who's coming out against this, Grand Bull here? I mean, nothing can really hit it and not kill it. So I think we just gotta, no matter what, like, regardless of who we send out, we gotta just chuck a ball. Like, I don't think we can weaken it in any way. Can we status it at all? I feel like I always think about the fact that my team... Oh, wait, we do have status. Never mind. We can hypnosis it. I was like... I feel like I always think about, like, whether my team has status or not, and the answer is always no, but I still have to think about it anyway. But no, we do have status. That's crazy to me. I thought for sure we didn't. I thought for sure that the answer was... that it was going to be, like, a question that I ask where where I sort of know the answer already, but I ask it anyway for the sake of, like, you know, commentary. I ask it only to answer it. But no, it was not one of those situations. I just genuinely, had, status. I asked if I had status, and to my surprise, the answer was yes. I did not know that. I did not see that coming. So now Enemy Granbull is still fast asleep. That's great. The Great Ball didn't do, very much at all. It broke out instantly. Let's try another Great Ball. We have level balls, but I feel like the level balls... I don't know how I would get more of them, and I feel like they're very helpful in Kanto when the levels of everything is so low, as they are. Wow, it's gonna be really hard to catch things in Kanto, huh? Like, the level balls are good. If I had more level balls, then I feel like catching things in Kanto would be easy. But because I don't, I can't weaken things, and so I have to catch everything at full health, basically. And that sounds really hard. Because it's asleep, and I'm throwing Great Balls. Like, it's not even like these are regular Pokeballs. These are Great Balls. Like, these are pretty darn good. And it's asleep, too. And yet, the combination of it being asleep and me throwing Great Balls is still not enough to catch this thing. I'm throwing quite a few Great Balls here, too. I would have thought it would at least shake. It's not even shaking. That's crazy. How is it not even shaking? Like, how absurd is the catch rate of something at full health in this game? It's wacky, man. I thought that it would take, like, a couple balls. I thought it would take, like, 4 balls at most. Does it catch now? Does it catch now, please? Oh, come on. Seriously? I mean, I suppose I shouldn't expect the first one that starts shaking to catch when most of them up until now haven't shaken. But I thought... I had hope for a second, you know? Clearly, it's gonna be, quite hard to catch this thing, so I shouldn't have really had hope. I should have just been like, oh, okay, it's shaking, but just because it shakes a couple times once doesn't mean that that first time it's shaking is going to be the time that you catch it. I shouldn't have had hope. This thing had proven to me that it is difficult to catch by the fact that it had broken out of all of those without a shake. And so the first time it started shaking, I shouldn't have had hope that I was going to catch it that time. But I should have thought that it was going to take longer. That would have made more sense. But I did not think that way. I had hope, and that was the mistake that I made. So it just keeps on using status moves on me, I think. I don't think it's gone for an attacking move yet. I can't recall it going for an attacking move. Or maybe it just did so little damage that I wasn't even that I didn't even realize that it went for an attacking move. I don't know. But regardless, I'm glad that it's not going for anything that's doing a ton of damage, because even if it is going for attacking moves, clearly they're not doing a lot because I didn't even notice. This thing I'm starting to think is way more trouble than it's worth. Okay, I've used up all the Great Balls on a stupid-ass Grand Bull. What a Pokemon to use up all your balls on. So I guess we'll just go to the level balls now. I didn't really want to have to use these, because as I said, they're going to be helpful for everything in Kanto, so I want to save them for, like, the good stuff. But, you know what? Let's do it anyway. Sure. Grand Bull, congratulations, you get one of the 2 Pokeballs that I wanted to save. You made me use it, you stubborn little piece of crap. Congratulations. It is actually timid and easily spooked. If attacked is what I think it said, or maybe I saw the it here. It says if attacked, it flails, and I saw the it on like the lower line, and so I thought it said if it tacked, but it said if attacked, and I just didn't see the AT. I just saw the IT that's on the lower line instead. You know, you do that sometimes, right? Like you mix up the lines and then you like read something on the wrong line than what it's supposed to be. Anyway, if attacked, it flails about to fend off its attacker. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So it's basically like a thing that's like really scared, and so it attacks with like major brute force, not because it's like confident in its attacks, but because it's just like wildly afraid all the time. That's cool. That's a cool concept for a Pokemon. I didn't know that that's what was up with Grand Bull. But now we are going to take out my trusty dusty notebook here. I feel like that was like Blue's Clues. My handy dandy notebook. Okay, and now I'm gonna look at the Pokemon names I've listed, because I have actually listed some Pokemon names that I could use for future episodes, which I had not done before, but did do one day because I was like, I've never done this before, and it would have been, and I've mentioned before how it would have been really helpful, I think. If I haven't mentioned it in a video, then I have mentioned it like just in my day-to-day life, how I should probably write down names for Pokemon, because it always takes me forever to name them. So, for Pokemon in the series, at least. Because the series has like this whole naming theme that is kind of difficult for me to keep up with and come up with names for. But anyway, so we're gonna name this one Annabelle. There were a lot of spellings of Annabelle that I found on Google. I went with the one that I liked the most, not necessarily the one that was most common, which is this one. This is the spelling of Annabelle that I found that I liked the most, I think. Let me look at it again. A-N... Oh, wait. Is it? Or is it... Wait. Is it 2 N's? Okay, I think it's 2 N's, actually. A-N-N-A-B-E-L-L-E. Okay, sorry, guys, I couldn't read my own handwriting for a second. And I'm sure some of y'all can relate to that. Maybe not all of y'all, but some of y'all can relate to that, I'm sure. Not being able to read your own handwriting. It happens! It happens to the best of us. And by the best of us, I mean the people of us who have the worst handwriting. So now we're gonna... The best of the people who have the worst handwriting. The best of the worst. So now we're gonna cut down this tree and come out here and then fight this guy, and it's a whole thing. Whole thing. We can't do without electricity. The power plant supplies us with electricity. Okay, well, there's a problem, and there's your solution to your problem. Pretty spelled out for you there. Spelled out pretty blankly. Pretty plainly for you right there. Your problem, and then the solution to your problem. Instantly. It's almost like it wasn't worth mentioning the problem in the first place. I gotta switch Gene out at the front. I said I was gonna do it, and then I didn't do it. And then I said again that I was gonna do it, and then I didn't do it again. Because I'm silly. Because I'm a silly goose. Let's be real, I'm a silly goose. So now, who are we switching out Gene into? Who are we switching out of Gene into? Is what I meant to say. Perhaps what I said worked grammatically, but switching out of Gene into sounds better than switching out Gene into. So yeah, I'm gonna change it. I changed what I said. Dismiss the first one. Dismiss the switching out Gene into, and instead, only recognize the switching out of Gene into, because regardless of whether the first version of that sentence I said was grammatically correct or not, the second one sounded better. So just ignore the first one. Pretend I only said the second one. Thank you. Anyway, so I'm gonna wing attack here. It's gonna take out the Kingdra. No problemo. I don't think I've ever pronounced problemo like that before. In fact, I don't think I've ever pronounced problemo, as I say it again, in a different pronunciation, because that doesn't sound familiar out of my mouth either. What are we doing? What are we going for with, what's the move against this golem? Let's go for the, water fighting type, because that's stab super effectiveness on 2 fronts. However, if I have the stab super effective water move with Judy, I am probably going to go for that, even if I have a stab super effective fighting move as well, because the stab super effective fighting move damages me when I use it, and the stab super effective water move doesn't. So I'll probably go for the water move pretty much every single time if both of them are super effective. With Judy, of course. With Judy, who they are stabbed with. Both of those moves are stabbed with Judy, so I will probably just go for, if they're both super effective, I will probably just go for Surf, because Surf does not deal recoil damage, it does not deal recoil damage, and close combat does. So in a situation where they're both stab, which is, you know, they're being used by Judy, so that is the situation, and a situation where, in a situation where they're both stab, as they are, because it's coming off of Judy, and they're both super effective, as they were against that golem, I use Surf, not close combat, because, while I think close combat does more damage, Surf does not deal damage to me when I use it, while close combat, did I say close combat? I meant submission, if I said close combat. Every time I say close combat, just know that I meant submission, at least in this episode. Don't waste electricity, because I don't know if it's, like, been a recurring thing throughout this episode, me saying submission instead of close combat. Sometimes I get into those modes of just, like, saying the same thing wrong over and over again, and not realizing till, like, way later, till, like, saying it a bunch of times that I actually, like, said it, I've been saying it wrong. Sometimes it doesn't, I don't get it. Sometimes it doesn't register the first or second or even third time I say it. Sometimes I have to say it a lot of times before I realize I'm saying the same thing repeatedly wrong. The power plant north of Lavender supplies power to the magnet train. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's why I was going in this direction, is to fix things with the magnet train or something. So here's a berry bush that was not here in the Kanto games, because there weren't berries in the Kanto games. At least not in the first Kanto games. I think there's berries in Fire Red and Leaf Green. I wonder if if the berries in Fire Red and Leaf Green that are on this route, if there's berries on this route, are in the same spot as this berry tree. That would make sense. That makes sense from a game design standpoint. Oh my gosh, the freaky music. Lavender Volunteer Pokemon House. Oh, okay. You need a... Oh, no, wait, this is like a Not Scary remix. Oh, this is nice, actually. I like this. It's still a little pitchy, to the point where it kind of makes my ears hurt a little bit, but I think it's kind of pleasant. Yeah, this is much more pleasant than the Lavender Town theme in the Kanto games. This is nice. Nice, I say, as my eye is twitching because my ears hurt, as I said. But it's nicer than the one that was making my ears hurt and was creepy. It's just like... It's like a little high. It's a little high in bit crunch. It makes me hurt. It makes my ears hurt a little bit. But I respect that it sounds nicer than the... See, this part's nice, where it's not doing the... Because it still has those, like, high-pitched bit crunch notes that... You hear that? Like... You know the notes that I'm talking about. If you're familiar with Lavender Town, you know, like, the high-pitched bit crunch notes that I mean. That just, like, really get in your ears. It still hurts my ears, but I appreciate that it's, like, nicer sounding than the original Lavender Town song. And when those notes go away, when it's, like, the sections that don't have those, like, high-pitched notes that are playing right now, it actually sounds really nice. Yeah, this part sounds nice, because they got rid of, like, the like, those notes. You need a Poke Flute to wake sleeping Pokemon. Every trainer has to know that. Oh, Lazy Pie is calling me. A lazy call from a lazy dude. Hello. No, not the freaking bad part of the song again. Gosh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go into a house or something. I gotta stop this music from ringing in my ears. Good evening, Alex. This is Pi. Were you awake? I dressed up my Flareon. Hey, you have a Flareon? I have a Flareon too! What a coincidence! It looks even cuter than before. Guess what happened the other day? I missed catching Arcanine again. Well, I caught an Arcanine, actually, a while ago. It was a shiny Arcanine, so ha! You suck! I'm kidding. You're great. I think. You're lazy. That's a pretty crucial flaw, but once you fix that, besides that, I'm sure you're great. Maybe I'm not very good at this. Yeah, that's because you're lazy. Wow, okay, it just instantly turned to daytime. That was crazy. I blinked and it was daytime. That's wacky. That's how that works. Bye-bye! Click. And I'm sure I've drawn attention to it before. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but it's still crazy that that's how it works. If I mentioned it before, it's still just as crazy. I still think it's just as crazy as I said it was the last time I mentioned it, which I'm sure I mentioned it before. As I said. Pidgey! Okay, thank you, Pidgey. Thank you for your insightful commentary of literally just saying your name. Some Pokemon, like, mix it up a little. Sometimes they say, like, segments of their name, like, repeated segments of their name. Sometimes they say, like, little bits of their name followed by, like, another little bit of their name. This one just literally said its name. This one wasn't even creative with how it was pronouncing its name. Or, like, splitting up its name. It didn't split up its name at all. It just said Pidgey. That's crazy. It didn't say, like, Pidgey! Like, that would have been more interesting. Instead, it just said, Pidgey! So it's like, what the heck, man? Be more creative in the way you speak. Articulate your thoughts better. In a way that's more interesting to me. Cater the way you speak specifically to me so that I am entertained. What's wrong with you, Pidgey? I'm kidding. Some cold-hearted people stop caring for their Pokemon. Grandpa takes in the poor, homeless Pokemon and takes care of them. Oh, you're a homeless Pidgey! That's why you're so uninteresting. That's not a diss at homeless people. I'm joking. That's a joke. That's a joke, too. That's one of those jokes that I was talking about. Goon! Okay, thank you, Nidoran. Or Nidorina? Or Nidorino? Nidorino. Goon! Okay, thank you, Nidorino. Psyduck over here. Doesn't look like a Psyduck, but it is a Psyduck, I assure you. Gua? Yes, thank you, Psyduck. See, that thing didn't even say anything close to its name. It said Gua. That doesn't sound at all like Psyduck. This Pidgey could have been way more creative, but I guess it's homeless, so, you know. It's had a rough life. I get if creativity isn't the first thing on its mind. Mr. Fuji does live here, but he's not home now. Let me guess. He's at the top of the Pokemon Tower, because, my gosh, we're predictable. A Game Freak. He should be at the Soul House. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Shout out to Game Freak for not being super predictable. In this one instance. But first, before we go to the Soul House, let's see if we can buy more Pokeballs, because we kind of used up all our all of our Pokeballs on one stupid Granbull. Are we short on potions at all? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we're still doing pretty good in terms of the amount of Hyper Potions we have left from when I bought 50 Hyper Potions before the Pokemon League. So, let's not buy potions, let's instead buy Great Balls. And because we've learned that Great Balls are so ineffective at catching things, I guess we'll buy, like, a lot of them. We have the money, it's not like we don't have the money. Let's buy, is 30 too much? I think 30 is a fine amount. Yeah, let's go 30. We are not as poor as I thought we'd be at this point in the game, after buying all those Hyper Potions, and also after, like, not doing very much besides fights that consume potions. We are not as poor as I thought we would be. But now that we've bought all our... I was gonna say potions, but that's a different thing that I was talking about. I mean, Pokeballs, our Great Balls. We're gonna go heal our Pokemon. Good morning, welcome to our Pokemon Center. I guess I had Pokemon healing on my mind, because I was just about to talk about the Pokemon Center. So, I just imagined that... I just accidentally almost said potions, or did say potions. I don't remember if I said it or just, like, thought about saying it, but regardless, I meant Pokeballs. I meant Great Balls. We can heal your Pokemon to perfect health. Shall we heal your Pokemon? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Nurse Joy. By all means. In fact, I welcome it. Yep. Pokemon healing. Coolio. Thank you for waiting. Of course. Your Pokemon are fully healed. We hope to see you again. You will, Nurse Joy. Trust me, you will. It's a Nuzlocke. I can't just let him die. There's a radio program that plays Pokeflute music. Oh? Ah. Your radio needs an expanded Ben card to tune into it. Oh, wow, okay, so that sounds convenient for the plot. I need a Pokeflute, I need Pokeflute noise to wake a Snorlax, and my Poke something or other. What is this thing called? Poke Nav? I think that's Hoenn. What do I have? Poke Radar? Poke Watch? There's too many Poke things. Pokédex? I mean, I have that, but that's not really what I mean. What's it called? I don't know. What's it called? I forgot. The radio station can't broadcast because the power plant is down. Oh, that's unfortunate. Can the radio station in Johto still broadcast? Or, like, I'd imagine it uses a different broadcast. I'd imagine it uses a different power plant, right? Like, there's a power plant in Johto for the radio tower in Johto, so I'm guessing our radio tower can still broadcast, just not yours in Kanto, so ha! Stupid Kantonians! You were insulting me earlier, now I'm insulting you! Our radio tower works, unlike yours! L. Stupid. How does it feel when the foot's on the other shoe, eh? To the north of Lavender is Rock Tunnel. Go through it to get to the power plant. No! Why? Why are we still doing Rock Tunnel? Why is Rock Tunnel in this game too? Why? Not Rock Tunnel again! Gosh. Why? Game Freak, why? So, now that we've heard the disappointing news that Rock Tunnel is still in this game, we still have to go with the Rock Tunnel in this game, I guess we will do whatever else we need to do here. And then, I guess we will start making our way towards Rock Tunnel, unfortunately. I came with my mom to visit Pokemon graves. Oh, is your mom up here? Hey, random girl's mom. There are other graves of Pokemon here, I think. There are many chambers that only Mr. Fuji may enter. Huh. Well, that's suspicious. What's he doing to those graves? What's he doing to those graves that he doesn't want people to know about? That's strange. Kinda creepy. The Pokemon that lived with me, I loved them like my grandchildren. Well, at least you're not burying grandchildren. That's not funny. I should not say that. Anyway, Mr. Fuji, welcome. You appear to be raising you a Pokemon in a kind and loving manner. Does that mean you're going to give me the very specific app that they said I need to do Pokeflute noises because I don't have a Pokeflute, but I do have a thing that has apps? Pokemon lovers come here to pay their respects to departed Pokemon. Please offer condolences for the souls of the departed Pokemon. I'm sure that will make them happy. Okay, do I, like, go over to the grave and offer the condolences, or did I already offer the condolences, and then I just have to talk to him again and say, like, hey, I offered the condolences, or is it not, like, a quest thing, it's just he's telling me to do something? I think that I've talked to all these people already, so I think that I've just talked to him again, and he's gonna say, oh, you did the condolences, that's great, or he's not gonna say anything at all, it's just gonna be the same dialogue, and I don't really have to do anything, or maybe I have to talk to them all again, because it didn't register the first time, because I didn't talk to him, and received the quest to, like, talk to all the people yet, to offer them my condolences, I don't know. Yeah, you appear to be in love, nope, not that, you appear to be a kind and loving trainer, and then talk to the people, souls of the departed Pokemon, blah, 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 graves, and sadness, and, mourning, and grief, and all that bad stuff. There are other graves of Pokemon, yep, and I've already talked to you, and I have already talked to you, but I'll talk to you again, just in case it means something, just in case I have to do that, just in case it's something that I have to do. Oops, I pressed the wrong button, sorry. I came with my Pokemon to visit Pokemon graves, that's great. I hope you're, making your Pokemon feel nice and, cared for, even in their afterlife. You could be raising your Pokemon, yep, I am. I'm doing that, I sure am doing that. The respects, yep, there's something about the respects, and paying respects, and something like that, and we talked to him again, and it did nothing, so I guess Mr. Fuji is not the guy who is giving us the Pokeflute thing. It's not a Pokeflute this time around, but it's a Pokeflute app. It's similar. I guess he's not the person giving us the Pokeflute app like he was the person giving us the Pokeflute. So I guess we have to get it from someone else. I kind of assumed that, considering the fact that he's an old man, so I'm sure he's not, like, hip with the technology or anything. But, I thought maybe it was worth a shot, doing a couple things to see if he would give it to us, because, you know, Pokemon, like I said, Game Freak's not the most creative when it comes to plot so I wouldn't be surprised if he gives us the Pokeflute in the Gen 1 games and the Pokeflute app in the Gen 2 games. That sounds satisfying in a way that doesn't require much... That sounds like a satisfying thing to happen in the plot that doesn't require much creative writing. Writing that's very creative, I mean. But that is not the case, apparently. I have to get it from somewhere else. Where else? I don't know, but somewhere else. Somewhere else I will find the Pokeflute app that I need, just not from Mr. Fuji, apparently. People come from all over to... pretty sure I talked to this guy already, but in case I haven't. People come from all over to pay their respects to the departed souls of Pokemon. Okay, that's cool. Hope they find pleasure in that. Hope they find the pleasure that they wish to find in that soul house. May the souls of Pokemon rest easy. That's kind of sad. Kind of sad. Death is kind of sad. Hot take, that's kind of sad. Hello. I'm the Name Rater. I rate the names of Pokemon. Isn't there a Name Rater in Johto too? Didn't I run into a Name Rater in this game already? Or did I really have to wait in this game this long, until this far into the game, to change the nicknames of my Pokemon? That's crazy if I did. But I feel like I've talked about before, running into a Name Rater, but not wanting to change Juan's name, just because it's been that way for so long. And I still feel that way. I feel a little bit less that way, now, because I feel like I've been playing this game for so long, I'm kind of interested in making a change in some way, to spice things up a little. So I might, honestly, change their name to Juanita, as it should be. Because they're a girl, I didn't know that when I named them Juan. In case you're unfamiliar with the old lore of this series, I didn't know they were a girl when I named them Juan. I named them Juan by accident, and I said, yeah, Juan's short for Juanita. But, like, I could actually name them Juanita. Just say that, like, they're going by Juanita now, not Juan anymore. They're not Juan anymore, they're going back to their full name. Going by their full name again now. I could say that, just, like, for the sake of changing things up a little, spicing things up a little. But I don't think I will. Not now, at least. Maybe some other time. Okay, then. Come again sometime. Okay, will do. So now I'm going to go into this house over here and explore this house as well. What does this lady have to say? Lavender is a tiny, quiet town at the foot of the mountains. It's gotten a bit busier since the radio tower was built. Oh, has the radio tower been built in the place of the Pokemon Tower? Is that why the Soul House exists? Is it like a replacement for the Pokemon Tower? Like the Pokemon Tower is no longer where the graves are in this town. Now they've all been moved to the Soul Tower. That sounds like a lot of dead bodies being moved. That sounds like it would be pretty difficult to do. Frankly, I don't know why they put the dead bodies in a tower to begin with. Because, like, how do you dig through the floors of a tower? Maybe the Pokemon aren't buried there at all. How are they, like, buried in, like... Would they be buried in, like... I don't know what the floors in the Pokemon Tower are made out of, but just the fact that it's, like, a multi-floored establishment... Is establishment the right word? I don't know. But, like, a multi-floored building, where, like, the floors are very clearly, like, not made of dirt, makes it feel weird for Pokemon to be buried up there. So I wonder if the Pokemon aren't buried up there at all, but the headstones just have, like, no grave in front of them. No, like, actual grave in front of them. Maybe it's just headstones. Maybe there's no Pokemon actually buried in the Pokemon Tower. I don't know. But it says there's, like, souls of the Pokemon there. It wouldn't make sense if there were no Pokemon buried there for there to be Ghost-type Pokemon everywhere. So, like, I guess, yeah, Pokemon have to be buried in there. I just don't know how you would bury bury Pokemon in, like, a porcelain floor. I'm sure it's not made of porcelain, but, like, it's made of, like, tiling. It's clearly not made of, like, dirt. The floor in the Pokemon Tower clearly isn't made of dirt, so it feels weird for them to bury Pokemon in there. But I guess Pokemon must be buried in there because there's souls of Pokemon roaming around the place. Kanto has many good radio shows. Is that all this person said? Yeah, Kanto has many good radio shows. I was afraid I'd just, like, forgotten the first part of their dialogue. Like, I'd read it, and then I'd just forgotten it, so I had to, like, read it again to, see what it was again. But, apparently that was not the case. Apparently they just, that's all they said. But yeah, this is the Pokemon Tower, I guess, or not the Pokemon Tower anymore. I guess now some other kind of tower, the radio tower? Kanto radio station. Yeah, it's the radio tower now. That's crazy that they turned the Pokemon Tower. They turned a tower full of graves into the radio tower. That's an interesting way of repurposing a building. I wouldn't have thought to do that, but okay. I wonder if the spirits are still occupying the radio station. Are they just, like, going on the radio every once in a while and going, ooh? Who knows, man? The people in this building probably know. I might want to ask them. I hope my silent protagonist asks them. That would be great. I really would like to know if the ghosts are occupying the radio station, just haunting the place, just every once in a while going live saying, "Ooh," that would be really funny. Your favorite programs on air around the clock. Okay, that's great, so we'll go in there in the next episode, because we're ending off this episode right now. So thank you all so much for watching. If you can, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. This is Alexis signing off. Wow, that was a fast outro. That was faster than I normally do it. That was great. See ya. See ya, guys.